So I am showing you the scores so far. We do have so far Hajar at the first position. I'm already in the second one. Muhammad Ali jumped to the third position. But Muhammad Ali still has a question to go. Muhammad Rashwan is the fourth one. Misk is doing well, and Iyad as well, but Iyad has some questions to go. So Misk has one question to go. Muhammad Ahmed Zidane jumped up. So my dear students, we do have like a couple of minutes so we can end the game and start the new part. But I'm really enjoying the scores here. اسمع try quickly you and Iyad, Muhammad Ahmed Zidane, Omar Rifai, Reem. Positions here in the fourth, change it. Misk took the position from Muhammad Ahmed Rashwan. Isfara as well. Muhammad Ahmed Zidane and Omar Rifai are doing really a good competition. But Omar Rifai, you take time while you're answering, so please quickly, because 1 minute to go.
It's kind of laggy, so I don't know.
Okay, Omar.
It lags when the Wi-Fi is bad.
Muhammad Ahmed Zidane jumped into the sixth position. Omar Rifai is fighting, but Omar Rifai has a lot of questions to go. He might make the difference if he answered them correct. Zidane again. Zidane and Yusuf are competing in this position. So far, Hajar is the first one with the score 20,800. Who would win? Who would be the first three positions? Yusuf and Mohamed Zidane. Can you compete about the first three positions? Iyad is doing well. Iyad jumped to the seventh position and he still has more questions. The same here is Farah. Mohamed Ahmed Zidane. Mohamed Zidane, I think you finished your questions. So the competition right now, Omar, Rifai, Iyad, and Yusuf Farah, and Reem. Reem joined a bit late. That's why the questions took time with her. Okay, so less than a minute and we'll end it. Reem jumped over the position of Muhammad Ahmed Zidane and over his Farah. Farah, you have some questions. Try to be as quick as possible. I don't think Reem would be able to finish all of the questions before we end. The same here, Omar Rifai has some questions, but I'm not quite sure he would be able. Although he jumped to the fifth position, if he answered quickly, he might even go to the first three positions. He had finished all of his questions. He is in the sixth position right now with 14,800 points. Reem jumped to the fourth position, although she still have questions. But I think Reem, because she has the strike, Reem went to the third position, pushing Muhammad Ali away. And here Omar Rifai. Omar Rifai as well is competing about the third position. Let's wait and see. Sorry for you, Muhammad Rashdan. Sometimes it happens. Try next time to avoid this. Oh, Reem went to the second position and she still have questions, but I don't think she would be able to answer all of the questions because of the time. Omar Rifai as well has one question and he might be in the three positions in the first part. Oh, I have to end because of the time. I won't be able to wait more. So the third position is Omar Wali, second position is Reem, and the first position is Hajar Rami. Excellent, Allah, good job, mashallah. It's really nice. What I really care about, it's not only about the positioning, but about the correct answers. So it means that we understood the lesson well. Here we do have 74% accurate answers. I'm talking about all of the questions for all of students. They were almost 31 questions, and we do have 10 students, so like 310 questions. Here, Hajar Rami, for all of the questions here, she did 30 correct out of 31. Good job, Wallahi. Excellent, Hajar. Here, when it comes to Reem didn't answer all of the questions. It was ended before she answers the rest of the questions. So here you would find some questions she didn't even see because she joined late, and we can blame her. So here, 25 questions. We would find Omar Wali, he got 90% correct. Do you know what, Omar, why Reem jumped to the second position, although you have more correct answers? Might be because she has streak, like no mistakes in between. And of course, it helps with the positioning. Omar Rifai, he answered 27 questions correct. I don't think he answered all of the questions as well. Really good, mashallah, it means a lot. Here, most of students answered correct answers. Here, Muhammad Ahmed Rashwan, only 20 questions. So I think you need to revise these points more. It was really nice. Let's go right now and hit the button. So thank you so much for participating in this game. It was just like a revision about the previous lesson. Today, inshallah, we are starting with the punctuation. While I was checking the writing, the picture description that you did, I found that, mashallah, I understood the lesson, but the mistakes were usually in this punctuation. And that's why punctuation actually it's supposed to be unit one in improving writing style, as it was written there. But we always start with the sentence types. So while you are answering, to take care of them. Today, inshallah, we'd go with the picture, with the punctuation marks. If you don't mind, let me ask you this question. Do you think that punctuation is really important, or it's not important, or because your minister said important, so it is important? I would try to change the question a bit. I would ask Hajar, since you are the winner. So, Hajar, why do you think punctuation is important?
To indicate emphasis on words and statements in a sentence. For example, I prefer to sometimes use commas to emphasize on phrases that usually define meaning of a word that I used or something.
I understand. Good, really nice point. Anyone else wants to add? Good point, Hajar. Thank you. I understand, Mohammed Zita. So, anyone else wants to add any answers why punctuation is important? What will we do right now? We would watch with each other a video. This video will tell you about the importance of punctuation. Actually, the video itself, the title is a bit weird. It says that punctuation can save lives. Let's find out more with each other about it, and let's find out, can it really save lives or not? Let's find out with each other. Just let me share with you. David. I would get ask you again about this once we finish. Yes, Miska, go ahead. Do you have a question?
No, I want to answer to your
Okay,
question.
go ahead. Would you like to add? Go ahead.
Yeah, when I write a sentence didn't make a punctuation, I can't understand it.
Yes, perfect. Amazing. So for understanding, if the punctuation is not correct, yes, the communication wouldn't be clear and understanding the sentence wouldn't be clear. And that's what the video would be about. Let's watch the video together. Look here, can you see this one? It says, let's eat grandma. Actually, here we need a comma before grandma. So it would be like, I'm calling him, grandma, let's go and eat. If you didn't use the comma, you made grandma, it's like it's the object. And of course, we don't eat people, all right? So here it's one of the examples how punctuation makes difference. Because some students think, oh, Mr. Punctuation, we already took the commas for subs many times before. So do we really need them? The problem is what some students, while I was checking their picture description, they dropped marks mainly and only because of this. Yes, the comma is supposed to be here. Let's watch out some more examples which were done like this, and some of them were in advertisements, and it was a disaster. Let's see more. Okay, great. So of course it's important. We don't to eat grandma, we don't roast kids, and we don't have boy syrup. So the point is what, as we mentioned, it's really important. The punctuation makes a big difference, of course. Let's find out more about the punctuation and why it is important. Then we'll have a look on speaking as well. So the punctuation, we do have some punctuation marks. Reem actually said some good points even in the chat. She said that it changed the meaning. Yes, it is changing the meaning. And that's why it's really important to watch out for your punctuation. And it's really important to proofread what you wrote before give to the teacher according to the punctuation. Let's find out more about this. We already spoke about the why it is important. Here's some of the common punctuation marks. So we do have the dash or the hyphen, both of them look the same. We do have the semicolon. We do have the colon, the two dots over each other. Each one I will show you how it looks like and when do we use it. We do have the ellipses and we do have the parentheses or the brackets. And of course the comma we would have. Let's start with the first one. Here it's the dash or the hyphen. Both of them look similar, but actually hyphen is used only with compound nouns. The compound nouns are like two words, sometimes more than two words, like three words, are combined together to give you a new word. Like, for example, we do have the word week, and we do have the word end. So weekend, it's a new word, means the day, which is the vacation at the end of the week. And here, when you use weekend, you don't use a hyphen, it's just one word with no space. So when we have compound nouns, we have three types. One of them, when the two words are separated with hyphen, like here, throwaway, high-speed chase, merry-go-round, user-friendly. And sometimes it's not a hyphen, it's just a space in between. And sometimes it's not a space and not a hyphen, the word would be joined together like weekend and ice cream and so on. How would I know it? It's actually about memorizing. It doesn't have a rule, so when you see this word, it would be hyphen or whatsoever. It's about memorizing the word. So whenever you memorize a new word with a hyphen, try to watch out that I do have a hyphen here that is needed. Now we'd go to the dash. The dash looks like hyphen, so we wouldn't find any differences on the shape of the punctuation mark, but the usages are different. So here the first usage for a dash. If you do not mind, can you please, Muhammad Ahmed Zidan, read to us the first usage? So a dash may be used.
A dash may be used to set off information in a more dramatic way than the comma. It can rename, repeat, specify, or amplify what was already been said.
Excellent, perfect. So as Muhammad excellently told us, that here the dash would be used for the first one to rename or to say what was said in another way. So I would repeat it, or I would specify it. I would say what exactly. Here the first example we have, it says, what mom says is a family meal. Then I use the dash to explain what we mean by family meal. So we said the day our relatives meet and eat. Then is actually a boring ordeal for my sister. So here, the day, it's about the family meal, and I was trying to rename it, to repeat it, but in different words. So I used a dash before and a dash after. If it came at the end of the sentence, it would be dash before and full stop after. But here, because it came in the center, in the middle of the sentence, so we need a dash before and a dash after. This is the first usage. If you do not mind, Muhammad Ahmed Zidan, continue with the second usage for the same one. So it can be used.
Can be used to set off apostrophes, nouns, or noun phrases that rename or add details to a nearby word.
Excellent. So, Mr. What do you mean by apostrophes? Here, Muhammad is telling us that the dash could be used with apostrophes. What do you mean by apostrophes? Apostrophes, they are extra information about a noun. So I have a noun, but I want to explain what this noun means. So I would use a phrase. This phrase, it's called apostrophe. Watch out for this word because it will be repeated again with us when we go to a wide range of sentence openers. So let's focus right now. What is apostrophe? It's extra information about a noun. Look here, when I tried to tell you what is apostrophe, I used a dash. So apostrophes, I found that my students might not know what do you mean by apostrophes. So I used dash to say what is apostrophe. All right. And this is the first usage here. And because it came at the end, I didn't use another dash. Top. An example about it, Mrs. Jenny. Mrs. Jenny, it's a noun, it's a person. I want to give extra information, more information about this noun. So it would be a positive. What is a positive? They are extra information, noun clauses, noun phrases to add details about the noun. So who is Mrs. Jenny? The loudest neighbor we ever had. Vacated her apartment, or she left her apartment or removed her furniture from her apartment. If I removed this part, the loudest neighbor we ever had, so the sentence would be Mrs. Jenny vacated her apartment. So it's correct sentence. Here it's extra information related to the noun, so we call it appositives. So we use the dash before and the dash after. So let me repeat quickly the first two usages for dash. One of them when I rename or repeat or specify or amplify a noun close to it or extra information about it. So I can use two commas or two dashes. Here we are talking about dashes, so we use dashes. But watch out, because later I will tell you that you can use a comma before and comma after instead of a dash before the dash after. Here with apostrophes, so we said, what do we mean by apostrophes? Extra information, more details, noun clause about a noun that we have before it. It could be even the noun after it. So here, the loudest neighbor we ever had, it's extra information or more details about Jenny. So here, these extra information came with two dashes, one before, one after. If it was at the end, it would be only one before. Thank you so much, Muhammad Ahmed Zidane. So if you do not mind, can you please, Omar Rifai? The third usage?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It can create dramatic shifts in tone or thought.
Yes, it can create dramatic shifts in tone or thought. So right now I'm narrating. I'm telling you like some events that happened. So I want to get a dramatic shift, like a change in the drama. So I can use the dash. Look here, this example, what does it say? I will tell you about some events happened. Then I want you to focus, to give your attention to a specific piece of information. So she got down the dusty books, opened the flaps, pulled out all the packing, carefully removed the antique vase, lifted it up to the light, and dropped it. So why did I use the dash here to give the dramatic shift while I am writing? Now, Mr. Would I be asked about this dramatic shift? Why didn't I use the dash in my writing? No, they will not ask you. It's not in level B2 or English as second language. But since we are taking the punctuation, so let's understand it all. So for this usage, if you used it, it's of course totally fine, it's perfect. But if you didn't use it, you wouldn't drop a mark for it, okay? Last one, Omar Rifai, dashes. Yes, Omar Rifai, are you there? I think he has something with his microphone. So if you do not mind, can you add on? Yes, can you read the last usage here yet? Dashes?
Dashes can be used for pose in a narrative.
In a narrative. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so dashes can be used for a pause in a narrative. Narrative, it means I'm narrating, I'm telling you some information. So in this case, I can use a dash. Why? To give a pause, like to stop for a time. So I want my reader, while he's reading this story, to stop here. So I said that road was quiet, mist and empty. The perfect recipe for a disaster. So here I wanted to give this part, I wanted to stop here and I wanted to stop there. So while my reader is reading, I want him to stop. That's why I used the dashes. Again, this usage, like the one before it, both of them could be used. And if you didn't use them, it's not a mistake, because here a pause and it's not a mistake if you didn't do it. You just want your reader to stop for it. So recapping the 4 usages for the dash quickly, the hyphen we said it's with the compound nouns, but with the dashes we said it's with renaming or repeating a part, or giving extra information about a noun, or to give dramatic shift while you are narrating, or you want while the reader is reading to stop reading in a specific part. So this is for dashes so far. Next part here, it would be the just a note about the dash, that the dash, when you are using it, it is used to add emphasis, like to focus more on something, and the dash is a mark of separation and it is stronger than a comma. So yes, it could be compared with a comma. Yes, some usages could be done instead of a dash, a comma, or instead of a comma, a dash. Like the extra information, like the apostrophes, the extra information about a noun, you can use comma before a comma after, and a comma after, or a dash before and a dash after. Just the difference between the dash and the comma for this usage, that it creates more dramatic effect. Here's some examples used. If you could have used a comma instead. As I zoomed past the corridor, I met Jen, the most cheerful person I have ever known in my class. I could have used here the comma as it's the apostrophe giving extra information about the noun Jen, or the dash as it is used here. I wasn't looking forward to going to the dentist, especially if she finds a cavity. So here again, we used the dash to rename or to explain or amplify what was given before. This is for the dash or the hyphen. Now we'd go to the semicolon. Semicolon, we'll give a hint about it last time when we were talking about the compound sentences. We said the compound sentences, they are 2 complete sentences linked together with comma fanboys or semicolon without fanboys. But if I use the semicolon, I wouldn't use a capital letter after. And here, this is the first usage for semicolon. We use it to connect 2 independent clauses. What do you mean 2 independent clauses? 2 complete sentences, where the full stop is more than required. So I would use the semicolon, but watch out that after the semicolon, I would use small letter, not a capital letter. So my sister's argument is relatively easy to bear. This is complete sentence. What stings is her singing, another complete sentence. I link them together with the semicolon. How it looks like? It's like a comma and a dot on. So it can connect 2 sentences, but watch out to avoid punctuation mistakes, that if you join them together, do not capitalize the first letter in the second sentence and use semicolon or comma and fanboys in between. But now for the semicolon, so no need for fanboys. It could also be used with the conjunctive adverbs. What do you mean, Mr. by conjunctive adverbs? The linking words. Whenever you use a linking word in the middle between 2 sentences, you can use full stop before it and the capital letter for the linking word and the comma, or semicolon before it, small letter and comma. Here, one of the examples. I do have the linking word here, or the conjunctive adverb, or the transition phrase, which is what is more. I'm coming to you, Miss, just a minute. So what is more here is a linking word. So in order to use it in the middle, you can use full stop, capital letter of W and the comma after, or semicolon, small letter, not capital letter, and the comma after. Yes, Miss, you had a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why here didn't we didn't put the dash?
Between linking words or transition phrases?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
actually
make
here
the bracket.
yeah, linking words and transition phrases, they are 2 other alternatives for the word conjunctive adverbs. So we were just telling you what's conjunctive adverb, it's linking word or transition phrase. But the dash here wouldn't work because it's not renaming or giving this one. This is different phrase for it, okay? And here the phrase that we have. So we need the semicolon before what is more and the comma after. If you use the dash, by the way, here, it's not a mistake because you can say I used it as a rename or for a dramatic effect. But the slash, when we have alternatives, could work. This is called a slash. Slash, usually we don't use it in our writing of the 4 topics of Oxford. We can use them for different ones. So let me repeat the semicolon again. So the first usage, 2 independent clauses, 2 complete sentences, I use it without fanboys. If I use fanboys, I can't use semicolon, it would be comma. Or before the linking word, in case of the linking word came in the middle and comma after. If I didn't use the semicolon here, it has to be full stop in capital letter. So the linking words, we call them transition phrases or conjunctive adverbs. Last one for semicolons that we would speak about here. Do you know when we have a list like I went to the supermarket, I bought, you would say, for example, eggs, comma, fish, comma, bread, and eggs. So in the list we use commas, but sometimes the commas could be confusing. What do you mean, mister? Like, for example, I would ask you, where did you go in the last vacation? So you tell me, mister, I went to England, London, France, Paris, and Italy, Rome. Here, Reem, did I go to 3 places or to 6 places? In this question, again, I went to England, London, France, Paris, Rome, Italy, Rome. Did I go to 3 places or 6 places?
3 places.
3 places only. If I used commas between all of them, it would look like if I went to 6 places, but actually they are only 3. But I was just telling you the city and the country. So they are only 3, excellent, as Reem told me. If I used commas between all of them, it would be confusing. If I don't know that Rome, it's the capital of Italy, I would be confused. So here what we do, I would use a comma between Rome and Italy, but I would use semicolon between this part and the new part, which is France, Paris. So the usage here, we call it, we use it when the comma would be confusing. So Brian, the officer in charge, I used comma between Brian and what does he do? But when I went to a new person, it's semicolon. Why? Because the comma here would be confusing. It would look like Brian is a person and the officer in charge is another person. But here it's just this describing this man. Then Mark, the chief, and Dexter, the director. So there are only 3 who were all present. Only 3, Dexter, Mark, and Brian. But the officer in charge, the chief, and the director, all of these are extra information about them. Is it clear? So what are the 3 usages? Because I would ask you right now, so what are the 3 usages for the semicolon? When I do have 2 complete sentences, so I use semicolon in between. When I do have a linking word in the middle, so I can use semicolon before it with a small letter and comma after, or when the comma would be confusing while I'm writing. Is it clear? I would change the slide and I would ask, can you, Miss, tell me about the 3 usages of the semicolon?
Yes, when I put between like city or country,
So
between city,
you mean when the comma would be confusing in a list?
yeah.
When the comma would be confusing in a list, when the comma would be confusing. Excellent. The next one.
Um, when I two complete sentences,
Excellent. So 2 complete sentences, 2 independent clauses. I can use semicolon in between. If I did this, Miss, could I use a capital letter after or small letter?
capital letter.
No, if I use semicolon, it would be small letter. Capital
Yeah.
letter if I use full stop. Okay. Next one or the last one, Miss?
Well, I forgot it.
Okay, perfect. So here, the last one was with the linking words in case of
Yeah,
there
linking
two
word.
sentences. So I would use, and again, whenever you use the semicolon, what comes after would be small letter, not capital letter. Thank you so much, Misk. So let's go right now to columns. Columns, it's 2 dots over each other. It has only 2 usages that we would care about. One of them, when we are explaining what was before, or giving like a definition about what was before. So here, for example, I had only one aim. What is the aim? Always to be different from others. So I use that column here. Why? Because it's explaining what was before. Or the other one, it would be before the list. When you want to give me a list before it, you can use the column. So I search it for my keys everywhere. The list is desk, cupboard, room, house, the whole world. So I use the column here. These are the 2 usages for columns. One of them when I am trying to explain or give a definition of what was before it, and the other one before the list. So far, we spoke about the dash hyphen, dash or hyphen, and we spoke about the semicolon, and we spoke about the comma. Let's go to the ellipses. Ellipses, it's like 3 dots written next to each other. And usually we use the ellipses to give a pose, like the dash that we spoke about before, to create this sense, like here, I didn't know. I wasn't very sure at that moment. All right. And here we want to sometimes to create suspense or to change the mood. So instantly I heard a loud screeching of car tires. Silence followed. So these are some of the usages of ellipses. Do I need them? Actually, if you are narrating, one of the topics of writing is narrative writing, like you are writing a story. Yes, it never came in the exam of Oxford so far. Oxford started 2018, so since then till now he did ask students to write it. It's in the curriculum. That's why we will take it. Anything in the curriculum, even if it didn't come, we would take it. Do I expect it to come? No, of course, but we are not working about expectations. We have to be ready for whatever is written in the syllabus. So you don't need it except if you are narrating or writing a story, all right? Rather than writing a story, you don't need the ellipses. The ellipsis indicates change of mood or suspense, as we mentioned here. Parentheses, they look like this. They are a bit slanted than the brackets. The brackets look like this. The parentheses, we use them instead of the 2 dashes when I have extra information. Like when I said Mrs. Jenny, the loudest neighbor I have ever had. So extra information. I can use a dash before and dash after. Or I can put the extra information between 2 parentheses or 2 commas. So are they interchangeable? Yes, the parentheses, dashes, and the commas, when it's extra information, I can use this or that. Go ahead, Muhammad. Muhammad, then you have a question, right? What is your question?
Yes, but don't answer the last part before partners and
Before parentheses? I would go back to it, but just let me finish this first. So the parentheses, again, it's extra information. I'm putting them between the 2 brackets. Usually I use it if the extra information in the middle of the sentence. If it's at the end of the sentence, I can use comma before and that's it, or dash before and that's it. In the middle, I can use 2 commas or 2 dashes or 2 parentheses. Let's look at this one. Cora, the woman who lives down the street from G, works as a paralegal. If you found all of what is written between the parentheses, it's extra information about Cora. How would I know if it's extra information or not? Mister, try to drop it. Try to remove it. If I removed it, it would be Cora works as a paralegal. It's correct. So here it's extra information. So you can use the 2 parentheses or the 2 dashes or the 2 commas. If it came at the end of the sentence, it's better to use just 1 dash before or just 1 comma before it. This is for the parentheses. What about brackets? Brackets, it's used when you are giving quotation, like I'm saying, Ahmed said, and then I open the quotation marks. Whatever is written inside the quotation marks should be the exact words Ahmed said. So if Ahmed said, I want to play, I can't say Ahmed said between the quotation, he wants. It's supposed to be I want. Why? Because I put the quotation marks. So whenever you put the quotation marks, it's supposed to be only his words. What if I want to make explanation about something inside the quotation marks, something related to what he said? So it's not exactly his words. So it's extra information I'm putting. In this case, I need to put the new information, the things that he didn't say, inside the 2 brackets here. Like here, Professor Brown claims, whatever between the 2 quotation marks should be the exact words of Professor Brown. Here I added the novel's central character. This, since it's written between 2 brackets, so it's not said by Professor Brown, it's said by me. I'm just trying to explain to you who is she. But exactly Mr. Brown said, or Professor Brown said, she is an example of a strong African-American woman. The part here, the novel's central character, it's not said by Professor Brown, but I'm just trying to explain who is she. That's why I wrote it between 2 brackets. So again. The parentheses, extra information. I can use 2 parentheses or 2 commas or 2 dashes. But when it comes to brackets, it's some information inside quotation marks that weren't said by the speaker. Is it clear? I would
Yes.
like to I would go to your question, Muhammad, then I would continue here. Muhammad Ahmed Zidane, you had a question about ellipses, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Go ahead. What is your question?
I don't understand it. Repeat only again.
Which part? The ellipses?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the ellipses, Muhammad, they are 3 dots. We use them if you are giving a story, if you are writing a story, and you want to change the mood or to create suspense to the reader. So you want the reader to understand that in this part, there's something happening. So you can give the 3 dots. Here it was said, instantly, I heard a loud screeching of car tires. Silence followed. Then the 3 dots, the ellipses, it gets the reader to understand that there is something weird might happen later. It creates suspense. Or in case if you want to give a pause in the middle, you want your reader, while he is reading the story that you wrote, to stop here for a moment or something. So I didn't know. I wasn't very sure at that moment. I could have used the full stop here because I finished the sentence, Muhammad Ahmed Zidane. But I used the 3 dots or the ellipses to tell the reader stop here for a moment. When would I use it? If I'm writing a story. Did story come before in Oxford? No, it didn't come. Can it come? Yes, of course, because it's in the syllabus and we will take it. Did you understand it, Muhammad, or not yet? Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, yes, yes.
okay, in case if you didn't go to the video again, and if you didn't, you can ask for office hours. So for parentheses and the brackets, is it clear?
When is office hours?
We can discuss it later on. So as for this part, is it clear, parentheses and the brackets? Okay, let's go to
But
the
I want only to know the difference between each other.
between parentheses and the brackets.
Yeah.
Parentheses, Muhammad, they look like this, and it's like 2 commas. You put the extra information in between, and the comma before it, and the comma after it. This is for parentheses. Brackets, Muhammad, we give extra information inside the quotation, all right? So here I do have a quotation, so it means all of what is in between said by this person. If I use the brackets, which looks like this, if I use the brackets, so whatever written inside, it's not said by him. I said that, okay? Commas, my dear.
Yeah.
Commas are really important because what we found while even I was checking your writing, found that a lot of students are using commas in a wrong way. Sometimes it should be full stop and the student is using a comma. Using a comma in the case of full stop, it gives us something called comma splice, and it creates problems for content and for language. Because we said in the content, if you have run-on sentences, if you have fragments or comma splice, the highest mark in content would be 4. So you need to watch out for the punctuation. And if you didn't use it and you need it might affect the punctuation, of course. Here's some of the usages for the commas. The first one, introductory phrase or introductory clause or introductory words. What do you mean by introductory word? It's not a sentence. It's just a part to introduce my sentence. Grabbing her umbrella, comma. So grabbing her umbrella, it's not a sentence. I'm just getting you to understand the situation, how it looked like. So it's just a phrase. It's introduction to the sentence. So I'm introducing the sentence. Kate raced out of the house. So the sentence here is Kate raced out of the house. What about grabbing her umbrella? It's introductory phrase or introductory clause. It's just introduction to what would be mentioned later on. So the first usage for the comma after introductory words or introductory phrases. Again, apostrophes, which we said with the 2 dashes, extra information about a noun. We said that the apostrophes are extra information about a noun. Here I do have the noun is chocolate. So the extra information about it, my favorite treat. So it's my favorite treat, it's extra information. If you removed it, the sentence would be correct. Chocolate always makes me feel better after a bad day. So here it's extra information. So I would use comma before, comma after, or dash before, dash after, or as Muhammad Ahmed Zidane was asking, 2 parentheses. Why? Because it's extra information. So 3 ways to punctuate it, with the extra information or with the apostrophes. Comma before, comma after, dash before, dash after, and 2 parentheses. And this is the same like third usage for commas. To mark non-essential clauses. Non-essential means not important. Extra information. What's the difference between this and between apostrophes? Apostrophes, it's always extra information about a noun. But the non-essential clauses doesn't have to be related to a noun. Just cooking skills, if you can call them skills, left something to be desired. Again, here, all of this is not important information. You can remove it and the sentence will be correct. Jeff's cooking skills left something to be desired. So all of this is extra information. Last part here in this slide, we do have more in the next slide, separating independent clauses with fanboys. Do you remember last time we already spoke about this comma? When we were talking about compound sentences, we said compound sentences, I would join 2 complete sentences with semicolon or comma and fanboys. Here, this is the comma and the fanboys. So Chloe is a good singer, but she is an even better dancer. She is an even better dancer. Link it to this one using comma and fanboys, but as one of the 7 coordinating conjunctions. Any question about those 4 before I would go to the next one? Zidane, do you have a question? Yeah, do you have a question? Great. Here we do have another 5 usages for the comma as well. One of them, if you are giving a series or a list, like Julie loves ice cream, books, and kittens. So here we use the comma between the list, between ice cream and books. Before and, mister, should we use a comma or not? Look, we do have something called Oxford comma. What is Oxford comma? It's the comma that comes before and in a list. If you do have 3 adjectives or 3 nouns, any 3 in a list, so, and use the and at the end. So you can use the comma before it or you can drop it. This comma before and we call it Oxford comma. The British, they don't use it. The Americans, they use it. If you used it, it's okay. If you didn't use it, it's okay. But Mr. We are taking IGCSE and its British system. They understand that students come from different backgrounds. Since it's proper English, they would accept it. As we mentioned, colorful. If you wrote it with the spelling of the British spelling or the American spelling, both are accepted. So here, but between the C's, I would use it. But Mr., while you were telling us about the semicolon, you said that I can use it in the list. Can you tell me about the difference between using the comma and the semicolon? When do I use semicolon in a list? Can you read? Reem, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. So when do I use the semicolon while I'm writing a list, Reem? Do you remember?
Like, should I say the semicolon when I use it?
Yeah, the semicolon. Can I use it while I'm writing a list or I can't?
No.
I can use it in one case. In case it is confusing, if the list is confusing. Do you remember the example that I said? Yeah, in case if it's confusing, I can use semicolon. I think at that time, Miss helped us with this. So we can use the semicolon in case if the comma would be confusing, but here the comma is not confusing, so we are using it. If I do have 2 or more adjectives describing a noun, so I can use the comma again. So he composed interesting, catchy, and spontaneous music. So here 3 adjectives describing music. So again, the comma is used. Can I use one before and or not? What do you think, Hajar? Would I use comma before and or not? Can I or can't I?
It depends on what the style of your writing. If it's British,
Exactly.
it's preferable. If it's American, then don't use it.
Perfect, amazing. It's called Oxford comma, so it could be used and it could be dropped. It depends on the style that you are using. Now, Mister, can I go and come in my writing between American and British? Try to be consistent. If you are using British spelling and the British punctuation, continue in the same. If you are using the American one, continue in the same. Parenthetical expressions like extra information, parenthetical because they can come between parentheses and it's repeated again. Contrasting elements when you are giving something and it's opposite, like it was her money, not her charm or personality, that first attracted him. So not her charm or personality, it somehow contrasts the first part, which is her mom. So when you are giving contrasting elements, can I consider them extra information? Yes, because if you remove this part, it was her money that first attracted him. But here just we are trying to classify it to you so you would have more ideas about it. Last one, and this one which caused us problems in the video that I showed to you, when you are addressing someone. So, mom, I can't find my shoes. Grandma, let's go and eat. You can put it at the end. I can't find my shoes, comma, mom. I can't, let's eat, comma, grandma. But not using the comma while you are giving direct address, it would cause problems in the understanding, of course. What if mom or grandma came in the middle? What do you think, Muhammad Ahmad Rashwan, I would do? In case if it came in the middle, what do you think I would do? Muhammad Ahmad
In the
Rashwan.
middle of what?
If it came,
I
if the person that I'm talking to you, him or to her, came in the middle of the sentence, do I need commas or not? And if I do, what would it look like? What do you think? I didn't say it, but just I'm finding out if you can get it. So for example, if I said, I can't find my shoes, mom, where they are. So I put mom here in the middle and I have information after I'm talking to her again, and I was talking to her before the mom. Do I need the commas here or I don't?
I think I need. So I that could separate them so
Exactly.
that I can.
So would I use the
So-
comma before or after?
Mm,
When I started here, I put it after. If it's at the end, I would put it before. If it came in between,
I think before.
actually before and after. So if it came in the middle,
Okay.
I would need one before and one after. Good job. Thank you so much. So in case if you do have a city and it's the country, you can use comma in between. In case if you have digits more than 3 numbers, you need a comma after each 3 numbers from the right side. This is for punctuation. Any questions about punctuation before we go? Full stop, it's
Master, what's
a sentence when you make sense. Sorry again?
What's apostille?
I didn't hear. Who's talking?
What's apostiles?
Muhammad Ahmad Rashwan.
Me.
Yes, Muhammad. What did you say? Muhammad Ahmad Zidan?
I'm talking. What's apostles?
Positives. Extra information about a noun. So when I give extra information about a noun, so I said chocolate, my favorite treat. So my favorite treat, it's extra information about chocolate. Okay, Muhammad? These are positives. This is for the punctuation. Yusuf Ala. Yusuf Ala.
Yes, sir.
When
Yes,
it comes to the difference between the the commas, dashes, parentheses, can I use them interchangeably if it's extra information?
yes.
Yes, so if it's extra information, I can use 2 dashes, 2 parentheses, or 2 commas. Yusuf, let me ask
Yeah.
another question here. If I ended a complete sentence and I want to start another complete sentence without using full stop, what punctuation mark can I use? Complete sentence.
Semicolon.
Excellent. Semicolon, because the comma would be comma splice. Excellent. And it would
Yes.
cause me to affect marks. Thank you so much, Yusuf Ala. So,
Thank you, sir.
Omar Wali. A question that I
Yes,
asked
sir.
earlier. The semicolon, could it be used in a list?
No.
I can use it in only one case, if the comma would be confusing. So I can use the semicolon if the comma would be confusing. Okay, Muhammad?
Okay.
That's perfect. That's all for this part. Only one thing to go, which is speaking. Speaking, yesterday we had the speaking practice. Although we didn't actually talk about speaking before, but I wanted just first to speak with you, find your skills, what you can do well, and so on, and to have an idea about the practice, how it goes. Look, till the day of your official exam, it's not a test. What we have with each other, it's practice to help you, to get me understand where are your drawbacks and how can I help you more on this. But let's find out actually how the speaking goes, how it looks like. Today, inshallah, I would send you some notes about speaking, but let's look at them first together and find out more information about the speaking test and so on. Look here, my dear students. First of all of Oxford examinations or curriculum go through 3 themes. So all of the questions that you would have, whether speaking, reading, writing, even listening, they are about some certain topics. So we have 3 themes. Under each theme, we do have some subtopics. Whatever question would come to you, it has to be from them. And this is the good thing about Oxford, that it's not really wide range of topics. There are certain ones. Yes, I know that those certain ones he can play with them, but again, we know how it looks like. So the first theme, it's the identity and culture. The second theme, it's local, national, international, and global areas of interest. The last theme, it's current and future study and employment. Each theme has some subtopics. So the first theme, it has some topics like talking about me, about my family and my friends. That's why you would find some questions I was asking yesterday about you and your family and your friends. And some questions about technology in everyday life, like using mobile phones, social network, mobile applications, and so on. And another one here, which is free time activities, can go to sports, can go to movies, music, and so on. This is theme 1. Theme 2, you would find there are some other subtopics. We said theme 2, it's local, national, international, and global areas of interest. So it's not me, my family, my friends, and technology and free time activities. But here I would be talking about my home, my town, the city around me, neighborhood, and the region in general. I would be speaking about some social issues like poverty and so on. And I can speak about global issues like global warming. It's a global issue. It's not only, it doesn't affect only a specific place, but it's a global issue. And we would be talking about travel and tourism. So I can say the best way to me to travel is by airplane or whatsoever. I can speak about my favorite place to travel, about my last journey, my last trip or whatsoever. Last theme, it's current and future study and employment. And here you would be talking or asked about your studies, your favorite subject, what makes a good teacher, what you would like to change in your current school, and so on. Life at school or and college. So what do you want to study in the university, why you would like to study it. Education post 16. But 16 mean 16 years old plus. Means university. Would you like to study in your home country or another country and so on? And the last part here, it's about jobs, career choices, and ambitions. What you want to have in future, what do you want to work as? Would you like to work from home or from or on ground? Would you like to work in your home country or another? A lot of other questions. But whatever I would ask it to be about those 3 themes. And I have to cover all of these 3 themes in the writing exam and in the reading, listening, and even speaking. Today, mainly, we are talking about speaking. First, if I understood the themes, I'm sending this note to you, these notes to you today, inshallah. Let's look at the exam itself, how it looks like. Here, if you do not mind, can you, Omar Rifai, are you there?
Yes,
Can you please read this part to us? So the speaking assessment, the time allowed is
10 minutes.
plus.
Supervised preparation time of 10 minutes.
What do you
The
mean by
test will
sorry for interruption, Omar, but I'll get back to you. So you do have 10 minutes in the practice with your examiner, but you do have another 10 minutes to prepare your card. We'll speak about card more. But Mr. The 10 minutes of preparation, would it make difference if it's 1 hour? No, it wouldn't make difference. You would be sitting in a room, having an Excel sheet, and you do have the card. You shouldn't be writing on the card anything because this card will be taken by the examiner after the after the picture description, and it will be given to another student. So you shouldn't be writing your name or your candidate number or any information on the card. Where can I write? They would provide you with an extra sheet that you can write on. But Mr. The sheet that I would write on, if I have spelling mistakes, would they be counted? No. If I wrote in Arabic, it's totally fine, but don't speak in Arabic. This Excel sheet that you have, it's like a kind of help to you. You can do whatever you want to add. But مثلا in the exam, can I be reading from the paper that I wrote? Yes, you can be reading, but actually it affects your intonation. Usually, since when they are reading, they are not talking in a natural way. So you find their tone, it's just monotonous. They don't go up and down with their voice. They do not go fast and slow. So it's better for students not to read. But if you read, I had students reading and got the form. Mister, if I took the Excel sheet, but I didn't write a single word, totally fine. This paper, by the way, the examiner will take it from you, but he will not send it to the Oxford examination board. The problem is it would happen only if you use some offensive words in the paper. Yes, in this case, it would affect you. Rather than this, you can write whatever the language you'd write or whatsoever. So 10 minutes of preparation and 10 minutes in the exact exam. In the exam itself, Omar, the test will consist of 2 parts. What they are?
What?
Yes. Part 1, Omar?
Photo card, 15 marks, approximately 3 to 4 minutes.
And the second part?
Part 2, general conversation, 25 marks, approximately 6 to 7 minutes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So here you would find that the card that you had to prepare on, it would be the first part. And this part has 15 marks. Those 15 marks are divided into 2 parts, so we'll speak about them right now. How long would it take in the practice itself? 3 to 4 minutes. In this card, you have 3 questions. The first question is always, what can you see in the photo? And another 2 questions. Starting from last year, from May, June 2025, we started asking extra 2 questions about the card, which are not written. That's why we say avoid memorizing, because you would be asked again. The best way to do your speaking exam is to be talking your mind, is to be just like chatting to your teacher, to the examiner, like he's a friend or she's a friend, and you're just talking. So this is the best way to do it. It's 3 to 4 minutes. If I have 5 questions in 3 to 4 minutes, so you shouldn't be exceeding 50 seconds. It's between 40 to 50 seconds. If one question maximum 1 to 1 minute, it's okay, but under no case exceed 1 minute. The examiner should stop you if you exceed. But if the examiner didn't stop you, you would drop marks, not the examiner. So try to give them answer of maximum 1 minute. But does it mean like short answers, 5 seconds, like yes, I like football? Would it work? No. It should be not less than 30 seconds. So try to develop your responses more, and you would see right now why, while we are talking about the marking criteria. So this part would be 3 to 4 minutes, and it would cover one of the 3 themes that we spoke about here. So yesterday, for example, the card that you had, it was about theme 2. It was talking about theme 2 while you were talking about volunteering and so on. So volunteering, it's social issue, all right? Volunteering and donating. So since theme 2 was covered in the picture description, the general conversation would be about theme 1 and theme 3. So theme 2 will not be there in general conversation. What is general conversation? There are some questions that examiner will ask you, and those questions, you didn't see them in the preparation time. But again, even if I didn't see them in the preparation time, they are about those 2 themes. If I prepare the ideas well about them, so any question would come, I'll be able to respond to, because whatever the question, it would be about those topics, right? Yes, we don't give specific questions, memorize these, but we give some questions, prepare ideas for these. Whatever the question would be, you would be able to cover the answer. The second part, because it covers 2 themes, so the time wouldn't be 3 to 4, it's 6 to 7. And the marks are not 15, it's 25. Here 1 theme, here 2 themes. If the photo card talk with the student 3 minutes, so the general conversation will be 7. If the photo card talk 4 minutes, so the general conversation will be 6 minutes. They don't listen after 10 minutes. So if you talk more time talking about 1 theme and you then go to the second theme, it would affect your mark. Because what examiners do in Oxford, in Cambridge, I give the mark, but in Oxford, we don't give the mark. We just record, and as examiners, and we send the recording to Oxford, and they mark your answer. When they mark your answer, they listen only for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, whatever you say, they wouldn't listen. So the best technique is to give answers, as I told you, of maximum 1 minute. So you'll be able to cover 3 minutes for one theme and another 3 minutes for the second theme. All right. And for those 3 minutes, you need to respond to 3 to 4 questions here and 3 to 4 questions there. So 50 seconds is really nice. If you went till 1 minute, that's it. Don't think that it's a monologue, like just you are talking, and because I'm speaking, it's perfect and so on. Another point, my dear, we are not marking, or Oxford, it's not marking your answers according to its perfect answer, so the student knows the definition of global warming or whatsoever. They are testing your speaking skills, but your answer is supposed to be relevant. So I asked you, for example, about your favorite subject in school. So it's supposed to be subject, not blue and green, all right? So if your response is like you are just saying anything, it's not relevant, of course, you wouldn't be able to go for any mark. It carries 40 marks. 40 marks out of 200, so it's 20%. And the exam is approximately 12 minutes. Why? Because the first 1 minute or 2 minutes, you'll find the examiner is giving the script, like the candidate name, center number, and speaking assessment card, the session, and so on. So that's why it's 12 marks. But the student would talk supposed to be for only 10 minutes. Those are the 3 themes that your writing would be about, your reading would be about, listening would be about, and speaking would be about. Now I think it is clear. So Hajar, if the picture description, if the photo description was about theme 3, can theme 3 be repeated in the general conversation in the second part?
Yes, I think, I'm sure.
If the picture description was about that theme, so this theme will not be repeated in the second part in the general conversation. The general conversation would cover the other 2 themes. If it was like yesterday, it was about donating, so the general conversation was about the other 2 themes. So the theme will not be repeated from picture description or photo description to the general conversation, okay? If you don't mind, Misk, I would ask the same question but in different techniques. So Misk, now, your picture or the photo that you are describing, it was about a family getting together in food and eating in a food restaurant or whatsoever. So, a family eating together in free time activity, which theme this picture would be about?
I think theme 1.
Excellent. So, since it's theme 1, Misk, do you think what would be there in general conversation? Theme 1 again? Do you think it would be repeated?
No, theme
What would
1. Sorry, theme 2 and 3 and theme 3.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Omar Wali. Omar, while I'm giving my answers, should I be talking for 2 minutes or 3 minutes for each question?
No,
Supposed to be of maximum of?
I don't remember, Mr. What is the maximum
Like
of them?
50 seconds, maximum of 1 minute, okay? Muhammad Ala,
Okay.
thank you so much. Muhammad Ala,
Yes,
how many themes I would be asked accordingly?
3,
How many questions would be in the card that I'm preparing?
3,
How many minutes should I be preparing?
10,
The paper that I'm preparing on, would it be marked? It won't be marked. Do we have wrong answers? If they are relevant, would it be wrong? We don't have wrong.
no,
Okay, so we don't have wrong answers. Whatever my answers are, but it's supposed to be relevant. Thank you so much. So if I told you what is your favorite color, whatever color you would say, it's okay, but just try to develop your response. Here again, in this, all of these points, we already spoke about them. So it's all of the assessments are, all of the themes are included. The instructions, we spoke about them. So we do have 10 minutes preparation. You shouldn't write anything on the photo card, but you can write in the picture, in the worksheet that they provide you. The picture description would be 3 to 5 minutes, as we mentioned before. All of these points we already covered while I was talking, and the general conversation, that the 2 themes not covered in the photo card would be there. Here's some examiner tips I provided you with. Here how your mark would be. Picture description, it's out of 15. So 10 marks for communication and 5 marks for knowledge and use of language. We'll see right now what do we mean by each one, but these are the maximum marks that you can get. They are 15 marks. Here I think you asked question, sorry, I didn't see. What if I give the examiner less than 1 minute to each question? It's totally fine, but don't go like 10 seconds or 15 seconds, because if it's less than 30 seconds, it means it's not developed. You see right now in the marking criteria, it's supposed to be developed. The next part, like, how would I know from the beginning that it is less than 1 minute? You would see while we are doing our practices, and that's why we practice 3 times a month. We take 3 Fridays, 1 Friday would be off, but 3 Fridays we would be having. And with time, you would be able, even if you didn't see the timer, you would know how long did you take. It doesn't have to be exactly 40 seconds, 50 seconds, but you would know the range. Another point, in the exam, there is a stopwatch between you and between the examiner is being used. You can have a look on it. Usually the examiner is putting it in front of him, but if you try to look, he would get you to see it. It's totally fine. Usually I put it between me and between him, and if I found the student is exceeding, I can show it to him so he can end his response. What about if the time is running out? That's what you would get with the practice, as I told you. Time. Right now we said 10 for content and 5 for language. When it comes to the second part, 2 themes are being discussed. And here you would find 25 marks. So the marks would be 10 for communication, 5 for language, but there is another 5 for pronunciation, how you pronounce and the intonation, and another 5 marks for the spontaneity and fluency. What do you mean by them, mister? How can I get a good mark? Here, to get a good mark, to get to the highest band in communication for the first part, picture description, if you do not mind, can you please, Omar, can you, not Omar Rifai, Omar Wali, can you read to us the highest band?
Okay. The speaker replies to all questions clearly and develops most answers. He or she gives an examples and opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, Omar.
Explains an opinion.
Yeah, thank you. So in order to be able to go to the highest band in the communication, let's make it like a checklist. The student replies to all questions clearly, so all of the questions were answered. Don't say, I don't know. It doesn't work. You have to give an answer, because we are asking about 3 themes. Forget about yesterday. Even if yesterday you said, I don't know, it's totally fine, because you didn't know about the topics that you'll be asked about. But I'm talking about later. If you don't know, try to speak. I'm not asking you about specific information. So whatever you would say, we are testing your speaking skills. So here, we didn't say he answered all of the questions correctly, but we said clearly. And here is the other point, Reem, that you are asking about. Develops most answers. So developing the answer, so not giving short answers. So can you tell me about your favorite movie? My favorite movie is Spider-Man, and I stopped. It took like 2 or 3 seconds. So I didn't develop. So I want to be able to go to this band. It would go down. Here develops some, here develops at least 1 answer. So you might go for 5 or 6. So to develop, try to develop your response. But mister, if I spoke about the movie, I might take 10 minutes. You don't need to reveal all of the information. Just see what genre it is, the famous character, why did you like it, in 1 minute or less. And you would see with more practice. So far we spoke about 2 points. Answers clearly, develops most answers. He or she gives and explains an opinion. Really important when you are responding to say one of the opinion phrases like I think, I believe, as far as I'm concerned, any of these. Once you would say I think or I believe or whatsoever, you would give an opinion. So 3 things to get the highest mark in content for picture description. Respond to all questions clearly, develop your answers, give an opinion. I would go to the questions, but just let me go to the next part, which is related to the language. Language, it's out of 5 marks. To get the 5 marks, if you don't mind, can you, Muhammad Ala? Muhammad Ala, can you read this? I would respond to your question, Muhammad, but can you please read to us, how can I get the highest mark?
Very good knowledge and use of language, mostly accurate, uses subordinate clauses, and there is some complex language.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mohammed. So here, very good knowledge and use of language. So while he's talking, he makes sense. So he knows what he's talking about. You are not asking him about something and he's giving you irrelevant information, or he has a lot of subject-verb agreement mistakes, or he doesn't know the difference between desert and dessert. So these points are really important while you are talking. So what he says makes sense. This is what we mean very good knowledge of use and use of language. Mostly accurate, and here the point is using subordinate clauses. What do you mean by subordinate clauses? Do you remember complex sentences? The sentences with because, if, and so on. Use some of them. I need because, I need some with despite or in spite of or if. So if you used one if, one because, it means that you used some subordinate clauses. Some complex structure, whenever you would use these, you would give complex structure. So if I am giving only short answers, I wouldn't be using subordinate clauses. So I wouldn't get a good mark in the content or even in the language. And all of this, I'm talking about the first part, the picture description or the photo description. So here, if I'm going to analyze it or I want to make it in points, so use subordinate clauses. If you use them, it will give you complex structure. And you have a good level of language. It's about your language level in general. Those are the 2 points for the photo description. Type. I had a question. The question is saying, would I lose marks for my accent? Type. When we spoke about accent, we need to variate, or let's differentiate between the accent and the pronunciation. The accent, some people have British accent, some people have American accent, some people have accent of their own. All of the accents are accepted and no one would drop marks for accents. But you would drop marks if you have wrong pronunciation. What do you mean wrong or inaccurate pronunciation? Like you want to say the word desert and you said desert. Desert, it's a place where no people and so on, but dessert, it's type of food. Another mistake which happens for pronunciation, for example, we as Egyptians, a lot of students, they have the problem of pa and ba, tha and the and sa, za. Some students, all of tha and that, they say za. Right. So these, yes, would affect, but would it affect in photo description? No, because in the marking criteria, I didn't speak about this, but we would speak about pronunciation in the second part in the general conversation. So the accent wouldn't affect whatever accent you can use, but the pronunciation has to be proper English. So do not use wrong pronunciation. I heard someone saying about pronunciation. So of course it's wrong. Of course he wouldn't be able to get a good mark. Let's go to the general conversation, the second part. We said it's out of 25, 10 for communication again, 5 for language, like the first part, but there are other 2 5s. Let's look here, you would find more information are being given. If you don't mind Muhammad Ahmad Rashwan, a speaker, here to get the full mark or to go to the highest band in content for the second part. A speaker who?
A speaker who consistently develops responding in extended sequences of speech, narrates events coherently or when asked to do so, conveys information clearly at all times, giving and explaining opinions
Thank you
convincingly.
so much, Muhammad. So here, if you looked, you would find that he gives more descriptors than the photo description part in the communication. Here he said consistently develops responses. Not most of the responses are developed, but here consistently. What the meaning of develops? So he doesn't give short answers, but not 2 minutes answers, right? So 1 minute answer maximum, right? It develops responses in extended sequence of speech. Narrates events coherently. What do you mean narrates? Sometimes I might ask you, can you tell me about one time you helped a neighbor? So in this situation, you are talking about something in the past. So you need to say, first, I found a man or a woman carrying her bags. Later, I spoke to her. So narrates like giving me the sequence. What happened, then what happened, then what happened, and so on. This is what we mean by narrates events coherently when asked to do. When asked to do, because if I did ask you to tell me about something happened in the past, you wouldn't need to narrate. Conveys information clearly at all times. What do we mean by all times? Times we mean past, present, and future. And it is really important while you are giving your responses to talk about the 3 times. Even if you don't have mistakes, but you didn't speak about the 3 times, you'll drop marks. Most of students forget to speak about feature. That's why we say whenever it comes to theme 3, the questions which are related about university and work and so on, you are not working now. You are not in university right now. You are taking your IG. So please, while you are giving answers, use will, use be going to, use some future tense sentences. This is when it comes to all times. Giving and explaining opinion again, and it's the same point that we had in the photo description, that you need to use some opinion phrases like I think, I believe, as far as I'm concerned, I unwaveringly opine, and so on. This is for the high spending content. You would find more. So if I'm going to summarize them quickly, give opinion, speak about the 3 times, all right? Again, develop your responses. And if you were asked to narrate or to tell a story or a situation, give it coherently what happened, then what happened. When it comes to knowledge and use of language, can you, Muhammad Rashwan, continue with us? Excellent.
Excellent language with a wide variety of linguistic structures and a wide range of vocabulary. References to past and future as well as present events are made confidently. Generally, a high level of accuracy, though minor errors may occur.
Okay, perfect. To get the full mark here, so you need excellent language with wide variety of linguistic structures. What do you mean by wide variety of linguistic structures? We mean like you are using some compound sentences, the fanboys, some complex sentences, some passive phrases are being given, and so on. Wide range of vocab, so the student, while he's talking, he's not repeating the same word many times. He's not using only basic words. References to past, future, as well as present. We already covered this in the content, and it's again here in the language being asked for, are made confidently. What I mean of confidently, like the student can speak fluently. Generally, a high level of accuracy, so not a lot of mistakes. If one mistake, they might overlook it. By the way, nowadays, they really care about every single mistake. They don't overlook any. Thank you so much, Muhammad Ala Rajdan. The pronunciation and the intonation. You were asking me about the accent. Would it make difference? I said the accent no, but the pronunciation would. So can you, in order to be able to get the highest mark, consistently?
Consistently good pronunciation and intonation throughout.
What do you mean, Mr. by intonation? We know pronunciation, how I say the word. I should say the word that as it is being pronounced by natives. Not the same accent, but the same pronunciation. What do you mean by intonation? Intonation, while you're talking, sometimes you speak faster. Sometimes you give a pause. So the natural way you speak. And here you would find a lot of students drop marks here. Why? Because when it comes to this part, you would find the students are feeling like they are memorizing answers. Unfortunately, some schools in different areas or some teachers, they agree with the students that you would pick some questions and I would ask you these questions. What happens? The students go and memorize these questions and answers for them. When it comes to the exam, the student is memorizing. So what happens? The intonation goes to another word. No intonation at all. The student is memorizing and they is just narrating. So no intonation. So the intonation, it's speak naturally. If you speak naturally, it's an exam of speaking. So if you speak naturally, you would be able to go for the highest band here. But of course, you have to have good pronunciation. Accent is not a matter at all. You can use any accent since you are giving proper pronunciation. Now we'd go to the last part being asked for. If you don't mind, can you give us a help here, Hajar? Yes, Hajar, can you? Go ahead.
Go ahead with what?
Yeah,
Read
read
the
just the highest band here.
excellent exchange in which the speaker reacts naturally to the questions asked and has an air of spontaneity, responds promptly, and speaks with some fluency, though not necessarily with that of a native speaker.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So I don't need to be a native speaker to get the full market spontaneity and fluency. But what I need to do to react naturally, what I mean for react naturally, speak the way you speak naturally with your teachers. Do not try to be using a specific, look, if you are a person who doesn't use a lot of idioms in his speaking, do not come on that day and try to use idioms. It would make your speaking not natural. Try to avoid memorizing specific responses to be said. Just speak naturally like the way that you do. It makes difference. It makes your spontaneity. There is air of spontaneity. What I mean of air of spontaneity, like the student is not memorizing and just blah 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 giving the answer. He speaks or she speaks their mind. So this is what we mean by air spontaneity. Speaking, and it's excellent exchange. Yeah, really important here. What do you mean by excellent exchange? It's not monologue. The student is not, I wouldn't ask you about global warming, and you read a lot about global warming and all that happened. And the student started giving me an answer. He is an excellent speaker. He went to a TEDx competition and he was the winner. He's an excellent student, but what happens? He started giving me an answer and he continued. And I tried to stop him. And he said to me, but Mr. Just let me continue. He took in this question like 3 minutes. And he ended all of the, wallahi, although he is a student who is capable of the full mark, he dropped like 6 marks in speaking because of this. Because it's not a monologue. And not 6 marks in only spontaneity, but it affected other points because some topics I wasn't able to ask him. After 10 minutes, they would stop. So some topics weren't covered because of the long answer. I tried to stop him many times and he asked me to continue the same answer. Like he read about it and he wants to speak about it. So it affected. So we say excellent exchange. The question should be responded in 50 seconds, maximum 1 minute. It's exchange, not monologue, right? This is how, but of course it has to be developed. This is what we will be examined accordingly. So you saw yesterday in the exam itself, you do have a card like this. This card, for example, it's about theme 3, it's about life at school and college, which means that the second part would be about theme 1 and theme 2. You would see the questions here, 3 questions, and another 2 questions will be asked. While you are describing the picture, you can describe whatever you can see, but try to focus on the topic that he said here, life at school and college. Yes, I can describe the clothes he is wearing, how many desks are there, the ceiling, whatever, but try to focus more about life at school, that they don't have to wear uniform, they are in exams, that it could be mixed and so on. All of these you should focus more than other points. Again, any description would be accepted since it's relevant and detailed. Or then some other questions would be about this. Whenever, please, you are talking about this, be sure that you give an opinion and you speak about future because it's theme 3. Another card here, this is the paper that I have. The student, if he didn't give me long answers, I ask him more questions, but it might affect him that he gave short answers. This one, travel and tourism, so it means theme 2. So the general conversation would be about 1 and 3. Yes, I can speak about its family, but again, here it's not theme 1, it's travel and tourism. So try to focus on the part related to the bikes, about the gadgets that they are wearing, helmets that they are hiking or whatsoever, or riding their bikes. Try to focus more about the theme itself. All right, when the question, what can you see in the photo? While you are preparing your answers, it could be full sentences and it could be just some words that could help you. Here about technology, I can describe the man, I can describe his beard, I can describe his bald, his smile grinning from ear to ear, the background, the coffee in front of him, but please try to focus on the aspect related to technology. What aspect related to technology here? It is the tablet. So he might be using social media, he might be following, I'm not assuming, I'm describing what I can see, but he's smiling, might be reading some news which makes him happy, or reading some jokes or whatsoever. This is how it looks like. The most important part, and we would end with this, that my dear students, we do have some questions here at the end. Look, first of all, there are some questions given by Oxford that we usually ask students, but we need to add more questions of our own. Here's some idioms that you might memorize and the meaning of each idiom. Not you might, please memorize them. And you would find some topic-related phrases, opinion phrases. How can I give my opinion, argument phrases? All of these phrases are really important to go through them. So if you want to say your opinion, you can say, in my opinion, personally speaking, it seems to me that what I think is, in my experience, I have no doubt at all that. Please memorize some. I vehemently or I unwaveringly believe that. Use some of these because, as you saw in the marking criteria, the examiner cares about using those opinion phrases, and he says, give some. These are suggested questions given to us in the exam by Oxford, that in the general conversation after the picture description, if I want to speak about theme 1, I can use some questions from these. Theme 2, I can use some questions from these. Theme 3, I can use some questions from these. What I want you to do is to try to prepare ideas about those questions. I can prepare answers, but I'm asking you to memorize answers. So don't prepare answers, but ideas. Those are the usual ones being asked by examiners, but there are more that we will take later. So your homework today, inshallah, would be about about punctuation, Unit 1 in improving writing style. I'll tell you about the exact pages, and you would have 2 pictures to be described, like the one that you had before, and you would have to prepare ideas for these questions of speaking. So 3 parts of your homework. Please try to send your homework earlier, not on Friday. So we said it's supposed to be on Tuesday, so I'll be able to check it. Dear all, any questions? Yes, go ahead, Hajar. Yes, Hajar. Sorry, Hajar again. No, go ahead, Hajar. Muhammad, please raise your hand if you want to ask. Yes, Hajar.
I was going to ask, is the homework going to be in the book that you sent, or is it going to be in the notes? Or
I didn't start the book so far. It would be improving writing style. I sent already, and the 2 picture description, I would send them to you. And the speaking one that I'm sending right now to prepare ideas for. So one, it would be from improving writing style. The other one, yes, you can leave Omar if the other one, it would be from speaking that I would send, and the 2 picture description. Yes, Muhammad Ahmed. Muhammad Ahmed.
so we will be describing 2 pictures.
2 pictures,
and
like the one that you described, the writing one. And speaking ideas and a punctuation in improving writing style.
And where is this going to be in the punctuation part? Where it will be?
Improving writing style, Unit 1. Improving writing style, Unit 1. Okay.
In the notes that you sent, or?
Yes, in the notes that I sent for improving writing style. We took sentence structure, which is Unit 2. The unit before it, it's punctuation. Okay. Muhammad Ahmed Zidan.
Yes, Mr. I also only want to ask, what's the homework?
Okay, so right now you know it. So it's really nice being with you, my dear all, and I'm looking forward to meet you again. Do you still have questions, Hajar?
What's the homework?
Okay. I already said Muhammad Zidane. I wouldn't be saying it 4 times. You can go back to the recording and I would send it as well on the WhatsApp, okay?
You'll send it?
I will send it on the WhatsApp, yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.